10 days after her son disappeared, Aruana finally found Itarã. But when she tried to hug him, the boy stepped back and said, "You're not my mother. That is my mother." And he pointed to an ancient tree that bled a thick, dark red sap as if it were alive. What that tree did to the boy during those days defies everything I learned in more than 60 moons living in this jungle. And to this day, I still cannot fully explain what happened there. I am Kana'a, shaman of this village for more than 60 moons. And this is the story of Aruana, a mother who had to make the cruelest decision a mother can face, choosing between keeping her son alive or bringing him back, because those two things are not always the same. It all began 10 days earlier, when Takani, Aruana's husband, took their son Itarã out to hunt. The boy was 10 years old, brave, smart. He always joined his father on hunting trips. But this time, something went terribly wrong. It was a morning like any other when Takani and Itarã left the village. "I'll be back in 2 days," Takani promised Aruana. She kissed the boy's forehead. "Take care of your father," she said. The boy smiled. "I always do, Mama." Those were the last words she would hear from him for a long time. 2 days passed. On the afternoon of the 3rd day, Takani returned. But he returned alone, and he was destroyed, burning with fever, delirious. His body was covered in strange wounds. Wounds that looked like burns, but not from fire. They were red, infected, pulsating. Aruana ran to him the moment she saw him enter the village. "Takani, where's Itarã?" Her husband collapsed into her arms. "The tree," he whispered, burning with fever. "The tree took him." "What tree? Where?" But Takani could no longer speak. His eyes rolled back. "I was called immediately. I used every herb I knew, every healing ritual, but it was already too late. Whatever had infected Takani was not from this world." 2 days later, Takani died. His last words were, "Don't let Aruana go after him. The tree is hungry." And then silence. Aruana did not cry at the funeral. She simply stood still, staring toward the jungle. After the burial, she came to speak with me. It was almost 6 in the evening. The sun was beginning to set. "Kana'a," she said firmly, "I'm going after my son. Aruana, your husband said—" "I know what he said," she interrupted, "but Itarã is my son, and I swear I will not return until I find him." She grabbed a spear, a torch, and water. "If I don't return in 3 days," she said, "don't come looking for me." At 6:01 p.m., Aruana entered the jungle, alone. I did not follow her, but the trackers did, from afar, without her knowing, because I needed to understand what was truly happening in that part of the forest. Aruana followed the signs Takani had left 2 days earlier. Broken branches, stacked stones, hunter markings. For 2 hours, everything seemed normal, but then the trackers saw something. The trees around Aruana began to move, not with the wind, on their own, leaning toward her, as if watching her. At 8 that night, Aruana heard a voice, a child's voice, singing. It was a lullaby she used to sing to Itarã to help him sleep. "Itarã," she shouted, running toward the sound. But when she arrived, no one was there, only an empty clearing, and in the center, small footprints, a child's footprints. But they led nowhere. They appeared and vanished. Aruana collapsed to her knees. "Itarã, son, where are you?" The voice answered again, but it came from above. She looked up and saw him. Among the branches, a small silhouette, running, jumping from branch to branch, too fast to be human. "Itarã!" she screamed. The silhouette stopped, turned, and even in the darkness, Aruana recognized him. It was him, her son, but his eyes glowed green in the dark, like nocturnal animals. "Mom," the boy's voice said, "why did you come?" "I came to find you. Come down." But the boy laughed, a strange laugh. "I can't come down," he said. "She won't let me." "Who won't let you?" "My mother." Aruana felt her heart break. "I am your mother." "No," the boy replied, "not anymore." And he disappeared into the leaves. Aruana ran after him, but the jungle did not want her to continue. By 9:30 that night, the sky had gone completely dark. Black clouds swallowed the moon, and the rain began. Not normal rain, a violent storm, as if the heavens themselves wanted to drive her away. Lightning struck every second. The wind tore branches from trees. The mud turned every step into agony. But Aruana did not stop. She kept going, stumbling, falling, standing again. "Itarã!" she shouted through the thunder. "Mom is here. I won't leave you." For 3 hours she walked like that, soaked, bleeding, exhausted. At 12:30 a.m., she reached a river that existed on no map. The water was dark, black like oil, and it smelled like rotting flesh. But on the other side, she saw Itarã standing, still, watching her. "Son," she yelled, "wait, I'm coming." But when she took her first step into the water, something grabbed her, something from the bottom of the river. Hands, dozens of hands, cold, rotting, greenish, clutching her ankles. They pulled her downward. Aruana screamed. She fought, but there were too many hands. She was sinking. The black water rose over her chest, her neck. "Itarã!" she cried, just before the water covered her mouth. And then a light, a golden light on the opposite shore. An Itarã's voice. "Let her go." The hands vanished. Aruana managed to crawl back to the riverbank, coughing up black water, shivering. When she looked across the river, Itarã was gone again, but on the trunk of a tree on the other side, there was a mark, a glowing mark, shaped like an arrow, pointing deeper into the jungle. Aruana followed the mark. Then she found another, and another, guiding her farther in, farther than anyone from the village had ever gone, until she saw it, the tree. It stood nearly 50 meters tall. Its trunk was as thick as 10 men standing side by side. Its roots spread across the ground like veins, and its bark glowed, a faint light, green, pulsing, as if the tree were breathing. And at its base, Itarã, the boy, sat among the roots, eyes closed, completely still. Aruana ran to him. "Itarã, my son." She touched him, and he opened his eyes, the same glowing green eyes. "Mom," he said, confused, "what are you doing here?" "I came to find you. We're going home." She tried to lift him, but she couldn't. The boy was trapped. The roots of the tree had grown around his legs. They didn't hurt him. They simply held him in place. "I can't leave," Itarã said, sadness in his voice. "Why not?" And then the tree spoke. It wasn't a voice. It was a whisper coming from everywhere at once. The leaves, the roots, the air. "Because he is mine now." Aruana lifted her gaze to the trunk, and she saw a face. formed by the ridges of the bark. Deep eyes, an ancient mouth, a woman's face, but not a human one. Who are you? Aruana whispered. I am a mother of deep roots, the tree answered. I was here before the first village existed, before the first human stepped into this jungle, and I will be here long after the last one is gone. Give me back my son. Aruana shouted. I cannot, said the tree. When the father brought the child to me, he was dying, bitten by a serpent. The venom had already reached his heart. The father begged. He wept. He offered his own life. I accepted. Aruana fell to her knees. What were you saying? I saved the boy, the tree continued. I removed the venom and healed his heart. But life is not free. I required something in return. The father offered his years. I took them, but the boy also had to give something. He had to choose, die as a human or live as part of the jungle. Aruana looked at her son. Itarã, is that true? The boy lowered his head. I was so scared, Mom. He cried. I couldn't breathe. The venom burned. Dad was crying. I had never seen him cry. And then she appeared. She said she could save me, but if I chose to live, I wouldn't be able to return home. Tears streamed down Aruana's face. And you chose to live, she whispered. I didn't want to die, Mom. Aruana hugged him for the first time in 10 days. I know, my love. I know. The tree spoke again. The child lives, but he lives here. My roots feed him. My sap flows through his veins. If he leaves my shadow, he will die within hours. That is the law of exchange. Aruana looked up at the tree. There must be another way. There has to be. There is none, said the tree, not with cruelty but with sadness. I do not make the rules, human mother. I only uphold them. The child is alive. He is well. He is happy. I care for him as I would care for a son. He hunts. He plays. He runs through the forest. He feels no pain, no hunger, but he cannot leave this place. This is your choice. Take him with you and bury him before sunset, or leave him here knowing he will live. Aruana was silent for a long time, just holding her son, feeling a heartbeat that should no longer exist. Itarã, she finally said, Are you happy here? The boy looked at her, and for the first time he smiled, the real smile she knew so well. I miss you, Mom, he said. Every day, every night. But I like this place. The jungle teaches me things, shows me things. Now I talk to animals. I understand the trees. And he looked toward the great root. She is good to me. She protects me, takes care of me, the way you used to. Aruana closed her eyes. 2 tears fell. Then, I'm going to leave you here, she whispered, because a mother doesn't choose what's best for herself. She chooses what's best for her child. She kissed his forehead. I'll visit you every month. I'll bring your favorite things. I'll tell you stories from the village. And you, her voice cracked, you will grow strong. You will be happy, even if it's not the way I dreamed. Itarã hugged his mother. I love you, Mom. I love you too, my son, more than anything. When the sun began to rise, Aruana stood. She caressed her son's face one last time, and she walked away. Alone, the tree watched her leave and whispered something that only I, through the spirits, would later hear. You are a wise mother, daughter of men. Few have the courage to choose their child's life over their own heart. Aruana returned to the village at 6 in the morning. The trackers saw her emerge from the jungle. alone. When they asked where Itarã was, she simply said, "He is alive. He is safe. He is where he needs to be." And she never spoke of that night again. Once a month, Aruana disappears for a day. She enters the jungle at dawn, returns at dusk, always with a quiet smile. The trackers followed her once. They saw her sitting at the roots of a giant tree, talking, laughing, with someone they could not see, but they could hear, a child's voice, calling her mom. The Amazon jungle holds many mysteries. Some children who vanish never return. Others come back changed, and some find a new way to live. Itarã did not die that day, but he did not return either. He simply transformed into something between human and jungle. And Aruana proved that being a mother does not mean keeping a child close. It means choosing what is best for them, even if it shatters your heart into 1,000 pieces. I am Kanoa, guardian of the mysteries of the Amazon jungle. And as long as the forest breathes, I will continue telling its stories. Subscribe to this channel, like this video, and tell me in the comments, would you do what Aruana did? Would you let your child live, even if it meant far from you? Or would you bring them back, knowing they would die? There's no right answer, only what your heart would choose. The jungle listens. The jungle watches. The jungle never forgets. Until the next moon.